All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome into another session. This is the potential trade here. Once we get filled, this will actually be the last trade for the year. So this is how it's looking. All right, we're going to be targeting our 1 to 2. We got close to the entry here on this next candle, but I do want to see a retrace into this breaker for a rally gap, right? And I want to give it some room for it to come into the inverse. I do like that we reclaimed these BISIs here, right? We had already inversed them, reclaimed them. We inversed this 5, so technically this is your inverse. So the last thing I want to see is for it to just go from here. I do want to see it dig into this unmitigated PDA right here. And I will enter. The only reason why is because then the risk makes sense for me at $117. Just one micro on NQ. We did switch contracts over. There's a lot more volume now in the new contract. We're back in H contract, so damn, seems like time flies. But I do like this a lot. I was bullish going into open, but I didn't see anything here. And then I like this retracement internally sweeping, rebalancing the 15-minute, coming back, respecting CEO the 15-minute, displacing higher, reclaiming these for value gaps, inversing the 5-minute SIBI. Now I would really want to see this be mitigated, at least tapped into the breaker. So that way we can get an entry. So I'll draw out the breaker so it's a little bit more clear. So it's these two up close candles, right? And then we have our fair value up here. Right here, 1 minute. I am noting the high on ES. So this is enough for us, right? For us to start displacing higher, but I did want to see us come into the breaker and the fair value gap. But technically there is no reason for, I guess, this could be a breakaway gap. So it's something I just have to accept, and I'm not willing to punch it all the way up here. The risk just becomes a little greater, and the risk reward gets messed up. So if it goes without me, it is what it is. I'm just gonna leave my limit there until we take at least this buy side, and then I'll be removing my limit. Now the same thing on top step, so solid. Just gotta be patient. This fair value gap here on the 1 minute could bring us lower, right? Into the unmitigated PD raise. So I would like to see some type of move lower to then go higher, right? Bringing us lower into here and then displacing higher, right? Because there's people that are joining in on this inverse right there, getting in. It starts working out. Their stop either is right under here or at break even now, depending on how much they're asking for. I don't want to totally ignore these PD arrays, but there's really nothing stopping it from going higher here. I like this fair value up to bring us lower to fill me and then go higher. But yeah, so we'll see. We will see. I'll set an alert because I got to be right back right now. I will be back. All right, we're back. And so now this has been inversed. Yeah, I have really low hope for it to come back and fill us. We're really close to the buy side here on ES. But if it does, my limit is still there. Notice how we are holding bullish PD arrays. So yeah, if this goes, it goes. It makes sense for it to go now. But if it does come back and rebalance this price, this would I would treat it as a manipulation lower to then go higher. So yeah, I want to set an alert on both just in case one gets tapped and I'm not noticing. But yeah. Yeah, the 1 hour looks solid. It's about to close now. Looks pretty bullish. We could go to previous high of day, right? But I did want to catch this trade here. I just had no entry really. Just for a value gap here. I see. Yeah, no real entry for me. The only entry I would have is at this fair value gap with the breaker. So it could be that we engineer highs, right? And then we come down, mitigate this fair value gap, come into the breaker, and then we displace higher. That would be ideal. But you know how this market is. It'll just dip. Nice. Yeah, crypto's been having a hard time. Ethereum keeps going at 3,400, 35, and then comes back down to, I think it got a low 27, was it? 27.87. That's crazy. Yeah. Notice how we just move lower and then we continue to hold. We're just really bullish right here, at least. This sort of like hold here. And it should send us higher. This is it. Really wanted to participate in this trade. But then again, we can be engineering more buy side. And if we're engineering buy side, that's perfect. But I would need to see a drop here in order for me to still be interested in this trade in particular. But yeah. Got the hourly on both. We've inversed this hourly. It makes sense for us to drop, maybe tap into the hourly inverse, and then see if we can get a continuation higher. So yeah, it would make sense for us to drop into this unmitigated PD array. That's why I'm leaving the order there. Hourly, we still have this inverse, right? That we can easily retrace into. How deep? I would expect it only to retrace to the 25% quartile, which will line up with this fair value gap here on the 1 minute and the breaker. And all the people that have been chasing here to go higher, boom, getting railed. People that like the reaction off the order block and enter here, their stop is probably below here or here. Yeah, I would be not the most confident if I was in here. That's why I don't join on these like higher premium. I rather join the deep discount. There's chances that I miss out sometimes. It is what it is. But I do want to join at discount, which would be below the 50% in this area here on the fair value gap, right? If we go to the hourly, look at the hourly. What is this right here? This is your inverse. We measure it. Right? I want to see it stay inside this 25% quartile. The first quartile of this fair value gap if you divide it into quadrants. And that would line up as well with our unmitigated PD array and give it just a little bit of room so that way it can only come in. It should only come in, tap, and then go. I like how we engineer buy side on both. Relative highs, and the ultimate target is right here for me. That would line up with the 1 to 2. So that's the plan. That's kind of like the plan with this trade. Reason why limit is still in because we haven't taken this buy side, right? this buy side that we're looking at here. And we haven't taken this buy side on it yet, so there's not really an SMT there with meaningful liquidity being swept. I'm still interested in this trade as long as it comes in and fills me at the unmitigated PD area. Sorry, guys. This would be the last trade for the year until January, second week of January. So we have a little bit of time, not too much. December 18th, next week. Yeah, definitely not trading next week. The closer we get to Christmas, the further I want to be away from the charts. I'll still backtest more than likely after the session is done. So after 1 p.m. my time, we'll go ahead and backtest it. I'll probably do a YouTube video on that and just kind of like a backtesting session of it. What I could have been looking for hypothetically, but it's all going to be hindsight, hypothetical, more so just trying to learn. So that way we just continue to have experience, right? We don't want to be away from the charts too much either. But yeah. That's the idea for this upcoming 2 weeks. Meanwhile, I'll work on other things that we need to work on and be ready for 2026. So yeah, we're continuing to hold that inverse on the 5. Again, we could just bounce from there. But I would feel a lot more confident being in the trade if we come into a discount, right? Rather than buying it at a premium. Because I could technically buy it since we're holding this order block here. And it looks nice, right? But I don't want to go based on looks. I want to use my logic, my building a narrative here and waiting for that narrative to be met. So for right now, the narrative is that we come into this unmitigated with the breaker, inverse, and fair value gap to then push higher after we've already inversed and reclaimed all these BISIs in versus 5 minutes. If this doesn't work, I'll just be simply off the charts and I'll be wrong on the day. But this is incredibly appetizing for me. I love trades like this. So I'd be very happy losing on this trade. If that's the case, everything is there for this trade to work out. Engineered buy side, higher time frame support, inverse on the 1 hour. We now turn bullish. This is very clear. And we have obviously support here on the 5 as well. We've reclaimed the inefficiencies. And yeah, so I'm just gonna buy it at market there because I don't want to do this close proximity entry stuff where I don't get filled, right? And we'll just sell one there. I'm trying not to make the same mistakes I make on the other trades where I'm too strict on my limits and therefore it never meets it. In this case, it would have met it, but in other cases, it wouldn't have. So what's an extra like $10 or so? Right. So there we go. In the trade now. And now I'm expecting a nice push up here. This is a very classic discount entry, right? If we take our fib from high to low prior to this move up, this would be in our discount, right? And deep discount would be in this area, which our stop still allows, right? But I really wouldn't want to see it dig too deeper into here. We can because we do have this inverse, but I would want to see us displace higher here in this area. Now I'm only putting my stop at this swing low because we also have this inverse. So technically the stop could be here, but I want to give it a little room in case it wants to wick. And yeah, again, this is a really good trade. If this loses, I'm simply done for the day and the year. And then we'll just reassess. December hasn't been the best month for us. It's been pretty tough actually. P&L wise, but it is what it is. We just continue to do what we got to do. That's why I typically try not to trade December, but I wanted to give it a shot for the first 2 weeks, and that's what we're doing. Let me adjust this here. There we go. And let's look at the 5. All right, I really like this change in the state here. So that's where it's currently tapped into. I like the sensitivity there. I would like to see a nice displacement over higher now. Notice how we've come into the inverse as well. So there's so many PD arrays here supporting price to go higher. That's why I really like this trade. All right, and then we have a 5-minute support, 5-minute displacement, reclaiming of these bissies. Nice. So just give it some time. Hopefully my mic is working, because if it's not, that's gonna suck really bad. I hope the mic has been working this whole time, because if it hasn't been working, that is not too good. But yeah, so this is a trade right here. I want to see a closure. I don't like how we're not respecting the breaker here. We're closing outside of it. We didn't quite respect it, and we also didn't respect the 1-minute BISI. But looks like we're gonna get stopped out here as well. It's been some tough days trading, but good thing we're doing it with low size. We're not risking too much. But yeah, it's just been a little tough with getting our models are presenting there, but they're just not delivering right now. I want to look at this. Okay. Yeah, this looks pretty cooked. It is what it is. 1 micro. But yeah, I really thought we would get some type of push higher here, but it looks like we're not.
Order filled.
What was that? Yeah, this closure is looking really, really bad. GG's. No way. The closure on the 5, just look at how we're not, we just ran right through the order block, right? So, I mean, it could work out here, but it's just very sloppy in my opinion. Not very clean. I like trades that are just rather quicker in delivery. And this is obviously delivering to our stop loss, so it's not looking too clean. But then again, it's not over till it's over, and that's where our stop is, where it's at. We just let the trade play out. Yeah, this is technically your inverse now. Yeah, this looks pretty freaking cooked. No respectiveness here. Yeah. The only thing we can ask for is if we were to just displace higher, but it doesn't look like we're gonna get that right now. we can easily come into this unmitigated PD rate first and then displace higher. But I'll be done either way after this trade. Just log out and call it a year. But not the best way to end the year, but it is what it is. Right? Transparency and honesty. Mhm. Yep. Let's see the stop and then we'll be done. Again, I really like this trade because we had already inversed these BISIs, created a SIBI, and then with one candle, we completely reversed and inversed and reclaimed all these BISIs. Right, we came back into the inverse, we're showing support. I wanted to see us get into a discount right from this low to this high. And so we did. We came into a discount here below this fair value gap. That's where we got filled. And then, yeah, we wanted to see support shown here from this breaker, inverse, fair value gap, order block, but it's not quite showing the support we want to push higher. This order block is not showing the respectiveness here. So it looks like this trade's going to get stopped out, but it's a really good attempt in my opinion. I really like this trade. I like the fact that it had all these PD arrays supporting price, and on the higher time frame on the 5-minute, we've engineered buy side here and here. So it looks great for us to displace higher. And I saw this leg down as a manipulation leg lower to then displace higher and price us into these areas here. But it seems like we still have this unmitigated 5 minutes, so it can easily come into here before heading higher, sweeping out this internal low, and then showing us a clear displacement up to the upside. I just wanted to see it here because I got the clear indication from this BISI and this closure. But it is what it is. We're still in this trade. It's honestly a little bit frustrating to see it take this long, even for stop out. But, we'll let it play out. Our stop is here because it's right below the inverse, giving it some room to breathe. But at this point, it looks like it's pretty much cooked. It's not over till it's over, right? Yeah. I really do think that if it was obviously another month like April or some of the better months like March, this trade 100% would have worked out in my opinion, and you would feel completely like these are the trades you feel comfortable like putting on size and then just letting them play out because you're very confident that they're going to work out. Now, this is a perfect example of the price action in December just not being ideal right now. So that's why today will be my last day. I'm not even going to try to trade next week. I kind of already paid for my lessons this week. And even though everything was lower leverage, things they still matter, because you're seeing these models present themselves and they work, but you simply just, are they're not working in December. It's just not as efficient price action, especially right now with all these giant um, displacements lower and higher. Like it's pretty crazy. It's definitely tradable, but if you're on the wrong side, it'll definitely take you out, right? So let's see. So that's a beautiful displacement out of here. I'm sure if we've put in some type of SMT. No, not necessarily. I guess this low. No, I would just, yeah, call it a just mm, our last resort, this order block, right? Order block still holding, barely. And on the 5 minute, look at the closure. Like all this pain with the wicks, just for it to start moving. So this is the type of price action that I'm referring to. Technically, the mean threshold is being respected. So, yeah. Just when you think the trade is cooked, it starts working in your favor. Now, we've seen this yesterday where we start to displace higher and it just inverses it, but we will see. That's crazy. Because imagine, like, as a trader, sometimes you contemplate ideas. Like, for example, when you're here and you're on the last line of defense and you're at this order block and you're just, the model is there and the stop is there for a reason, right? Giving it room for this and that. Technically, the stop could have been here, but I was only affording this much risk and it makes sense for it to be there. When it's at this level, as a trader and just being transparent, you start thinking of like, should I cut this trade? Is it worth me going to full stop? Or should I go ahead and take you know, minimize my risk by 20 bucks, 15 bucks, whatever it is, the amount. And let's say you would have done that and then you would have felt good because you would have seen these candles and this consolidation. You're like guaranteed to go down here. And then market does this. This is why you just let the trade play out, because based on all your back testing and all the study you've done, you're going to have trades like this where they're a little bit painful at first and then they start to show some signs. Now, that's not to say it's guaranteed that it's going up there, but again, what did we say about this setup? That this setup is something in other market conditions, not being in December, I would love to put size on this and just let her play out, because it has every criteria for me to want to put size on this. But given that it's December, I'm only using one micro and this is my last trade for the year and I'm calling it. That being said, it was going to be sucky to end on a red note. It could still happen, but this right here is it just proves, time and time again, like, you just have to let your trade play out. You've back tested the technicals far too long enough. Let it play out and let it do its thing, right? But yeah, I mean, once this hits here, I probably will be taking it off once we hit on ES, just because I'd rather not be an SMT, and I'm going to be content with what I can get. I'm not going to be greedy and try to go for full PT. I'm not going to try to, yeah, I mean, we were literally like a couple points from getting stopped out. How far were we? Like 5 points away from getting stopped out on NQ. That's crazy. So yeah, if ES takes this high first, I'm not even going to take my chance. I'm just going to draw my stop right behind it. And then if it stops me out right at it, then it is what it is. But if it runs, it runs. And then the market just I'm just gonna chill right behind it since we
Order
can still
filled.
pump, but there it is. So what a great way to end the year. I guess we'll just watch it go to full PT if it goes to full PT, which it probably will now. But look at this. The market doesn't allow anybody to get into this trade. It's just gone, right? And we literally were so close to getting stopped out, and then just completely reverses. It's insane. But it's a great learning experience. Another one of this has happened to me before, but it's like it just goes again. I'm speechless. It just goes again to prove like your models work, everything works. It's just you have to be patient, right? You can't let the human element of emotion start dictating like, should I cut this, should I not? Because I'm just being honest, those are the ideas I had. I was like, maybe I should just cut it and save myself an extra $20. Keep in mind, this is not your funded account. This is a live account. I did take that on my fundeds as well on all 5 accounts, but again, it's even though it's not a lot of leverage, it still means something to me. At the end of the day, this is how I can pay my bills and all that good stuff. So it's yeah, it's very remarkable to see the model play out precisely how it's supposed to, and nearly induce every fear that the human experience can produce, right? And then for it to work out. But yeah. Other than that, guys, that's the video for today. We're ending 2026 here. I mean, 2025 here, going into 2026. And then I will see you guys. I'll probably do more backtesting videos from now on until we start trading the second week of January. We're looking at price the second week of January. But don't forget, rollover. So if you're going to continue to trade, that's on you. Don't forget to roll over your contracts, right? Roll them over to the or delivery contract age now. So have a great day, guys, and enjoy the break.